Hi, I'm Monisha and welcome back to the Knit Guru. Here I am in pink, not unusual, wearing a puppy brooch, not unusual. He's got little hearts on him. So we're here for Galentines. We're actually not here for Galentines, but tonight I am going to a premiere of Wuthering Heights, which opens in New Zealand here tonight. And I'm taking my sister because we're going to a lights up showing of Wuthering Heights. Now, what's a lights up showing? Basically, it's the movie theatre's been booked out by a local bookshop, the same one that ran the stationery festival. And what it is that we're going to have the lights up low so that we can watch the movie and we can do our knitting. So I'm expecting that it's going to be a whole room of people that have their knitting and their crochet and all of that kind of stuff. What have I brought with me? I'm trying to stay on theme, on brand, etc. I've got my Southland DK and I'm going to work on, I'll try and remember to insert a picture, and we both know I'm going to forget, but it's the library card vest. And what's interesting about the library card vest is it's knit top down, and it starts at the back of the neck and goes down and shapes under the armpit, and then you pick up and come over the top. So it's going to be interesting. It was an interesting time trying to work out exactly what size to make. But we'll see how we go. If I end up frogging it all and starting again, it's not the end of the world, but that's what we're going to attempt to do. I do not think that I'm going to get to a point where I need to do the contrast colours on the vest, but just in case, I didn't bring it anyway, so I was going to, and then I didn't. I've got 2 balls of Southland yarn, and I doubt I'm going to need both. The other thing I've brought with me is I have brought with me this task here, and this is a cross stitch that goes on a pocket for a handbag, and it's been on my to-do list for quite some time. I have also remembered to bring my glasses because it's been a really long week at work, and my concussion symptoms, they're creeping back in with all the light and the tiredness. So is it a good idea? No. Am I going out anyway? Yes, I am. Is it a school night? Yes, it is. So I'm going to go. It's Circus Cinema. Now, Circus Cinema also has a restaurant and a bar. There's also some complimentary bubbly, and there's they deliver snacks and stuff to you during the theatre. So it should be a fun experience. So we'll go, I'll see if I get any clips. I don't know if I can get any clips. We'll see how we go anyway. And then we'll do a recap on what did I knit and what did I think of the experience. So, here we go. All right, so could this be a more disparate ending to this video? No, it pretty much can't be. I am covered in paint. I'm in my painting shirt. The flooring goes down in the house in under a week, which means I've got a lot of skirting boards to paint, which would be fine if the skirting boards were all prepped. They're not. So I've just come off making a list of all the things that need to be done before next week in the order they have to be done in. And is it stressful? Yes, it is. Anywho, the Lights Up movie. So first of all, it was Wuthering Heights. It's worth noting, I loved the book of Wuthering Heights. Yes, it's all broody. Did I name one of the father-in-law's stud rams Heathcliff? Because, he's all broody. Yes, I did. All right. We're not judging me for my love of the broody gothic romance. Okay, I have a massive issue with Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre and I have big issues. I love the book of Jane Eyre, but the problem is that I studied feminist literature in my last year of university, as well as post-colonial literature, which meant that I have issues with that woman. Great book, though. And then yeah, Wuthering Heights. I love Wuthering Heights. It's so good. I remember reading it. I just remember the damp and bleak moors. And ironically, do I complain when things are damp and bleak around here? Oh, I do. I totally do. Yeah. What did I think of the movie? Well, I turned to my sister at one point and I said, I didn't realize I was such a prude because is it a spicier version of Wuthering Heights? Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. Did I spend a lot of the time clutching my pearls, metaphorically? Oh, I did. I did indeed. However, I will say this about it. As long as you don't go in thinking that it's Wuthering Heights, parts of it are so clever. Like the artistic design is really off-putting. And I know that sounds really strange, but early on in the film, there's a section where you see the place where Catherine lives, and it's got these really shiny, really square bricks. And I was like, okay, that's, weird on a set design aspect when everything else is clearly rugged, wet hills. And then there were these really jagged, unrealistic looking rocks. And I was like, okay, this is all a choice. Then you get over to Linton's place, and Linton's place is all bright and colourful. And Isabella, who's absolutely bonkers, is retelling the story of Romeo and Juliet with all of its gory detail. And it's like, yeah, okay, so I can see what they're doing. It's an artistic choice. The wallpaper, oh, I have never been creeped out by anything more in my life than the wallpaper, except maybe the fireplace. I am going to watch it again at some point, just so that I can look at things, because there's some really interesting design elements. The musical score matches what's going on completely. It is absolutely a completely different story, and I'll tell you this for free. One of the most confusing things about reading Wuthering Heights is when you go through and everybody's named Catherine and Heathcliff, and then they have children and they're Catherine and Heathcliff, and you're just like, can you just name your kids something else? Because I'm having to stop and think constantly about which one is which. And so instead in this one, I'm spending the whole time going, when are we getting to the babies? But we didn't. It's a different story. But it was good. It was worth a watch. It was hilarious. The lights up part, now that was fun because I knew a lot of the people who were there, but I didn't necessarily know that they were knitters or crafters or whatever. One of the women that I worked with was there, and she was doing the binding on a quilt. She had all the clips on it, and she was just doing the little stitch binding. Another woman, I feel like a sneeze is going to come on. Can I avoid it? Another woman that I know through work because I taught her grandson. She was there with her knitting, and she's invited me to her knitting group because she has two knitting groups, one on a Friday evening and one during the day on like a Monday, so that it caters for different groups of people. That, there's the one that everybody works and the one where everybody's got the day off, Who else was there? Some people that I've known from a lot of events over the years to do with the arts or reading or any of that kind of stuff. So that was cool, sitting with them. One of my best friends was there, but that's because she won tickets. But she didn't take any crafting with her. We got given these red envelopes, and in the red envelopes there was two things. Firstly, there was a $1 scratchy thingy. So could I have won up to $10,000 with this scratchy? Yes. Did I win $10,000 on the scratchy? No. I had to read all the instructions about how to do this because I don't think I've done one of these before. So that was interesting. And a raffle ticket. Now the raffle ticket, they drew the raffles because this was a lights up event put on by a local bookshop. She got her publishing house, or the publishing house that she works with, supplied spot prizes for the raffle. So there were lots and lots of books and journals and that sort of thing. The top prize was a very artsy edition of Wuthering Heights that was very beautiful. However, how did this go? I actually can't remember which way round it went, so we'll just pretend. My sister and I both won a raffle, back to back actually. So this here was one prize. I can't remember which was hers and which was mine. Either way, I ended up with them both because she's not a reader. This is Lisa Walker's The Pact. I know nothing about it, but it's evidently a dark and twisty story that will keep you guessing to the very end, according to someone called Kate with a Y Nunn. So I'll read that at some point when I've got time. Oh, and here we've got River of Stars by Georgina Moore. And according to the two people at the top, Patrick Gale and Lucy Foley, this is romantic, sexy, and bittersweet, as well as the British Taylor Jenkins Reid. Don't know what that means. It just says, an island of music, a love that runs deep. Joe hasn't seen Oliver since that magical, life-changing summer which ended their idyllic paradise shattered. Growing up on Walnut Tree Island. Is that a real place? I'm going to Google it. Either way, we have two books. Maybe it was that I won this one and she won this one and I said, want to swap? And she said, you can have them both. So for a $20 movie ticket where I got to go and take my knitting, and it came with a glass of wine. So we got a glass of wine and the movie ticket for $20, which is already good value. I got to sit and knit, good value. And I walked away with two books. So I can't complain with the hidden value there. Then where did my knitting get up to? I got up to here. Now this is the library card vest. And it's one where you increase all these stitches along the side to get the shape. And then what's going to happen is that I will be picking up stitches here or here. The stitches get picked up because this bit goes across the back. So let's pretend I'm not facing you. This bit is across the back, and then it must be picking up here and then going over the shoulder that way. So it's an interesting construction. So I enjoy doing that. It is quite a tight knit, which is probably going to be good because it's colour work. I didn't take any of the grey with me because I knew I wasn't going to get up to the grey, but for some reason I still took two of these oatmeal shades. I feel like I could do this in the 4.5 and it would have like more flex to it. But it's perfect, to be honest, as it is on the 4mm. Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting construction when I get up to it and then finding out how the neck happens. Because I haven't read ahead in the pattern because spoilers! I don't know. I keep thinking I've picked the wrong size. I keep looking at it thinking this is too small or this is too big. But it's hard to know because of the interesting construction. So that'll be fun. I was quite impressed with how much I managed to knit because a lot of the time I was sitting there like this. What? And then it's one of those movie theatres where they can bring you food. And I always say to the girl who works there, because I used to teach her, just surprise me when you bring me my snacks. And so then my fries and my lemonade arrive and I'm all... You know, so I probably could have got more done if I didn't order snacks and didn't spend so much time going, oh my God, or actually watching the movie rather than just knitting. But it was fun. Have I been to a Lights Up movie before? No. I have bought tickets to them before, and I had one that was cancelled and one that I didn't end up getting to go to in the end, which was a bit of a disappointment, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a good time. I would do it again. I have been actively looking for Lights Up movie showings because it feels like dust. It feels like it was one of those things that I was going to enjoy, and I thoroughly did. Yeah, so I just want to say, if you see one, go for it. And then I was watching The Stitchery, I think. And she was talking about the fact she went to a hike and sew event where people went on like a little bit of a walk, then they all sat down and they did their sewing projects, and then they went back down on the walk again. I thought that's a smart idea as well. So I don't know if there's any of them around here, but I'll keep an eye out because that sounds like it could be fun too. yeah. In the meantime, I will catch you next week. And if you decide to go and see Wuthering Heights, I'd love to know what you thought about it and whether or not it was your Wuthering Heights, whether that was your Heathcliff. I think Heathcliff is broodier, and nowhere near as piratey. He comes back all clean pirate in this one. I don't think he comes back clean pirate in the book. I'm going to have to reread it. I also think he's like ruggedly handsome, not weird. I just don't think Jacob Valordi or Elordi, I don't know. He's not my cup of tea. And then when he came back all piratey, I was like, really? Anywho, I will get back to some painting and do some knitting and catch you next week. Bye.